Hi everybody, it's Judy Clock, your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Middletown, Virginia, coming to you tonight with another tutorial with a template. This one I'm calling my side swipe design, and you'll see why in a minute. So let's go ahead and switch out our cameras and get started. There we go. So I call it the side swipe because you've got these two panels on the front of your card that just sort of are going side by side. So it's a pretty basic template, and I think once you learn it, you'll see that it has many different applications. So let's take a look. And all of the measurements, as well as the template itself, live on the inspiration sheet in my Crafty Collective Inspiration Vault, which is available to subscribers. And I'll leave the link down in the description. So here's our first one. So we've kind of gone ahead. We've really made it very close to the design. I have added some designer series paper to that cardstock, and then I embossed both layers. So that's one option. Here's another one using the adorable, let's get the little dimensional cover off there. Silly Old Bear Sweet, that's Pooh Bear with Oh Bother, his trademark saying. And I've embossed this cardstock with the 100 Acre Woods embossing folder. It's kind of hard to see, but that's just another variation on that. Here is this one, another variation. I've added the designer series paper there. I cut out. This is the Artesian Sketch Designs paper that will be available. It came available on Tuesday. It's already May 7th. But this one I cut out. I fussy cut out one of the vases, and I kind of put that on my focal point and just used a very small little sentiment from the Banner Sayings stamp set. And then lastly, I did our gears and textures. Again, using that same layout, no sentiment because we're going to put it on the inside, but I did add the little spinning gear because I am just in love with that mechanism. So those are the just 4 different cards using 4 different sets and 4 different ideas using the same basic design template. Once you have an idea of how the template goes together, it's really easy to just kind of mix and match. And think of templates like a recipe. Once you have the basic recipe down, you can go ahead and add all kinds of seasonings to change it up how you want it. But that's what a design template will do. It'll give you the basic recipe, and then you can change it up to do whatever you want to do to use whatever supplies you have on hand. Let's go ahead and make one. So I have here, I have a Timid Tiger card base. I have some pretty peacock layers. I've already embossed this one with the, I think this is the So Swirly embossing folder. I love this one. It's leaving, unfortunately. It's on the last chance list, but it's one of my favorites. So I'm going to add a piece of our basic white to the inside, just because I like to have that in there, even though this is sort of a light enough color that you could actually just write in there. I personally think that the white insert just gives it a more finished look. That's just my opinion. So, you do what you want to do with your cards, but I kind of like the look of a white insert. Now, obviously, if I have a basic white card, I don't put the white insert in there, but I do it for that. All right, now I'm going to go ahead. Because I've embossed this, I'm going to go ahead and use some liquid glue on it. I find the Stampin' Seal will sometimes rip my embossed layers. So I usually just go ahead and add some liquid glue to these to get them to adhere. But you see how quick and easy this is? All right, let's go ahead and put that down. The liquid glue gives you a little bit of extra time to kind of get your layers in place. All right, now I'm going to use the Round of Hellos stamp set, and I'm going to stamp that flower. Now, I want to stamp the leaves in our pretty peacock, but I'm actually going to stamp it off first because I don't want it to be very, very dark. I'm going to ink up my stamp, going to stamp it off. And I'm going to come in here with that 2nd generation ink and stamp. Okay. Then I'm going to stamp our flower in Timid Tiger. I'm going to stamp the little center. This is like one of the smallest stamps ever. I'm going to stamp that in Lemon Lolly. So many pretty yellows. I chose to go with Lemon Lolly. Right there. And then I'm going to stamp the sentiment, have a beautiful day, up here in our pretty peacock. Okay, and that's it for the stamping on this. So very simple. And this is called A Round of Hellos. I think this one might be on Last Chance also, because we had a new catalog that dropped on Tuesday. What's everybody's favorite from the new catalog or the new online exclusives? Who has already ordered the Silly Old Bear Suite with Winnie the Pooh? That was one of the first things I got when I could get the pre-order. That's one of the benefits of being a demonstrator, is that you get all this stuff first on pre-order and get to play with it. All right, now I want to take my ribbon and I want to wrap it around sort of the bottom of my card. And in order to hold it in place, I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive on the back just to kind of help hold it down while I'm working with it. So I'm going to fold it in half so I can sort of figure out where I want it. Okay. Stick it in. There. Okay, I'm going to go down just a little bit more. I want to get it over my adhesive. Okay. Now this is the tricky part, because this is where I usually have a big problem. I want to take my twine and I want to tie it around my ribbon to hold my ribbon in place. So I could cut it off the spool, but why do that when it's so much more fun to just struggle and see if we can make it happen? Okay, so I'm going to pull my ribbon tight. I'm going to pull this as tight as I can. Okay, and then I'm going to come in here with my reverse tweezers. This is great. If you don't have one in your craft room, you need one. This acts like a third hand when you need to hold something in place. I'm going to tie another knot just to make sure that I can keep that ribbon really tight. Okay. All right. Now I can remove my tweezers. There we go. I'm going to finish this off with a bow, I hope. Let's see. Let's see if we can get this done. Ooh, let's see. Eek. Let's see. Ooh, there we go. All right, I'm just going to kind of pull I don't want these loops to be very big. Pull them down a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to trim them up. Going to trim up our ribbon. And we're ready to put our card. Okay, I'm going to just trim these, cut them on an angle. And now we're ready to put this onto our card front. I'm going to use some dimensionals. I'm going to use about 5, one on each corner and kind of one in the middle, because you don't want the middle of your layer to sag. So we're just going to kind of, oops, we need all those. Put some of this on. Let's get rid of all of this mess on our desk. Let's bring our card back in. And take off these covers. Everybody kind of does it with their pick tool. I don't really have too much luck doing it. Oh, no, see, I didn't get that one off. See, sometimes I can do it, sometimes I can't. Mostly I can't. Let's add that. Let's go ahead and add some bling, because who doesn't love bling? We've got our in color dots. I'm going to pick up one of each size, maybe. Add a little bling bling. And there we go. And that is as easy as it is to use a template. We've got our design here. We've got our two sort of like focal pieces. This one, we've sort of kept it pretty close to the original. This one, we came out here. I didn't really use any embellishments on this other than like I used some metallic paper and the spinning here. Kind of wanted to go with that grunge, vintage, like industrial type vibe with this one. So it's a little bit more feminine with the flowers and some pretty coloring there. Of course, Pooh. How adorable is this one? Now this I did use one of the die cuts and cut it right out of the designer series paper. So the only thing I had to stamp was the "Oh Bother." And then here's the one that we just did. So that is it. That is how quick and easy it is to use a template. Like I said, this template, the design with all the measurements, will be on the inspiration sheet, which is in my Crafty Collective Inspiration Vault. And that is a monthly subscription. I will leave the link if you want to learn more and subscribe. I will leave the link down in the description for this video. That's it for me this evening. You all have a lovely evening. Have a fantastic weekend. It's Mother's Day weekend. So is it Mother's Day weekend? I'm trying to think. It is not yet Mother's Day weekend. Mother's Day weekend is coming. But you all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and I'll be back next week. See ya. Bye.